President Barack Obama weighing in on the 2020 race yesterday, warning candidates not to alienate more moderate voters, saying, quote, even as we push the envelope and we are bold in our vision, we also have to be rooted in reality. The average American doesn't think we have to completely tear down the system and remake it. So to react to this, we bring in our 18 political panel. We've got Democratic strategist Robin Biro and Republican strategist Eric Beach. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us today. Robin, I'm going to go to you first. So President Obama kind of saying, you know, the American people, by and large, don't want a revolution. They just want, you know, incremental steps that will make their lives better. Maybe the most pragmatic thing he's ever said.
Absolutely. And at his heart, he is a moderate centrist. But I want to make the point that he's being a little bit disingenuous here, because our campaign message in 2008, when I was one of his directors, was that he was the progressive candidate. Now, in the general election, we dialed that back to make it more palatable to your everyday viewer. So for him to say that right now in the primary is a little bit disingenuous, but I understand the point that he's making.
Well, follow up on that. So he also hasn't weighed in much. This is really one of the first things he's said at all. So it seems like it's a very calculated move. It seems like the kind of thing he could say to seniors in the party behind closed doors.
Yes, it does. And, you know, honestly, you could almost take this as an endorsement of Joe Biden. That's how I looked at it when I read these stories.
Yeah, Eric, what do you make of the comments?
Well, but he hasn't endorsed Joe Biden. You know, at this time in 2015, there was two outsiders that were ahead in the polls, Donald Trump and Ben Carson, and their message was to blow up the boxes, to change the complete system of Obama and Biden. So I think there's a lot of disarray in terms of the party on picking a candidate. At this point, they're candidate shopping, because Joe Biden was supposed to be the foregone conclusion, and you got folks like Elizabeth Warren that are rising in the polls that I believe that most moderates in the party think that cannot win in a general election. We welcome Elizabeth Warren to the general election if she can get there, but I think most people in the Democratic Party, especially if you're on the moderate side, want to stay away from that type of progressive candidate in the general election. So I think that's what Obama's message was, and I agree with Robin. I think it was a pseudo endorsement, if you will, of Vice President Biden.
You guys agree, so we can end the segment and we can all go home.
That's right.
Watch football, drink some beer.
Robin, so let's talk about Bloomberg for a second.
Yes.
The common kind of political analyst wisdom here in Washington is that he's entering the race because he's recognized Biden is newly vulnerable. So he thinks he can kind of swoop in and pick up, you know, some moderate steam here, or steam from moderates. Is that how you see it?
It's not just that. He's also looking at the money. Joe Biden just has not been raising enough money. He's got less than $10 million in his campaign coffers. Donald Trump has got more than $100 million in his, with the RNC having hundreds of millions of dollars. So Bloomberg, with his $52 billion, is looking at this like, you know, there may be some opportunity here.
Eric, $52 billion in his pockets. A lot of, you know, Republicans are saying this is really a vanity project for him. It's not serious. If he was serious, he would have taken the steps he needed to start taking, you know, a year ago.
I'm not sure about that. I mean, Democrats said the same thing about Donald Trump when he came into the election. I think Bloomberg looks at this and says, you know, Joe Biden has made a series of campaign gaffes. And Robin, you left out the Great America PAC's going to be coming after the Democrats too. So, but I think Bloomberg is making a calculated decision saying, look, you know, I can run into the center between Elizabeth Warren and Joe Biden, same as Mayor Pete is doing. And I think if Joe Biden tanks, not only are you going to see Bloomberg jump into the race and be formidable, but I also think you'll see a possibility of Hillary Clinton re-entering the race, because if Joe Biden comes down,
we are coming up on a hard break, gentlemen. I'm sorry to cut in on you.
No, thanks,
Eric,
Joanne.
Robin, thanks so much. We will bring both of you back.